Hello friends, it's Jim O'Rear. Thank you for joining me for another video. On today's video, we're going to take another step outside of the theme parks and see something that is in the general area, but may be of interest to people who are looking for something different than the theme parks and things like that. And that is Bok Tower Gardens. And it is located really kind of just between Tampa and Orlando. So not that far from the theme parks if you wanted to take a trip down there and see it. And basically Bok Tower Gardens and the purpose behind them is to inspire a better and more beautiful world, which is a great thing. The name behind it is Edward William Bok, who immigrated here as a child from the Netherlands and became a very influential and important editor and author. He was a Pulitzer Prize winning author. He also was the editor of Ladies' Home Journal, which was the first magazine to ever get 1 million subscribers, became the biggest magazine in the world at its time. And he was a social activist and was really looking for ways to better the world and things like that. So Bok Tower Gardens was set up basically as his gift to Americans for giving him the opportunity as a young immigrant to get an education and work and become who he was, to be successful in America. And Bok Tower Gardens is his thank you for that. And there is a ton of stuff to see at Bok Tower. So I want to take you on a little trip to see some of the highlights and things to give you an idea of what it's like to go there. And it's well worth the trip if you're looking for something to do outside the theme parks again. And we'll get into some more of the history and what the tower does and how it plays music and things like that as we go. So come on, let's take a look at the gardens. Now, we were visiting Bok Tower Gardens in the dead of winter, and I didn't really expect to see, tons of flowers and extreme greenery and stuff like that, because, it's the coldest part of the year. We've just passed, 30-degree temperatures, where plants don't live. But entering the gardens, you see there's the National Historic Landmark sign, which it is. I was surprised how much greenery and flowers there was for dead of winter. It's really beautiful how they have everything set up. They have a lot of inspirational sayings like this: "Give to the world the best you have, and the best will come back to you." Lots of things all spread through the gardens, and it's huge, as you can see here. Here's a map. It's over 7 acres, and it's full of walking trails and different reflection pools, and there's a children's area, there's the tower itself, there's a mansion out there, and we're going to take a brief look at all of that stuff to give you sort of an idea of what it's like to be there. I'm not going to show you everything because I want you to explore and discover on your own when you go there, but this will just be a little background and some history and kind of a look at some of the trails and what you can find there. Now, we are here just after Christmas, and there are still some Christmas decorations up. At first I thought they might be some sort of Blair Witch sort of symbol, but no, it's not. It's Christmas decorations right there. Pretty cool. And the first place I wanted to head over to was the tower itself. The tower, there it is, you can see sort of peeking through the trees there. The tower is huge, it's beautiful, and it is actually an instrument. I don't think many people know that it is an instrument. It plays music, and it just doesn't play music. There's a person inside it that plays music. And I'll show you a little bit later in the video the instrument that's in there and how it works, and it rings the bells and stuff like that. But on the way over there, they started playing a little bit of music, and this is what it sounds like ringing throughout the gardens. So I'll show you the instrument that's in there that does that in just a little while. There are about 185 of these instruments like this in a tower in the United States, and so it's pretty cool that there's one right here in Florida that you can go check out. And it's a bell ringing device that used to be used, for alarms and things like that, and then they turned it into an instrument. Now, interesting little thing here. You'll see a plaque here by the water that's in front of the tower, and it's about Edward Bach when he was born and all that, and it mentions that he died within just eyeshot of the tower. It was one of his favorite places, and at his family's request, they had him buried right here at the tower. And you can see right there in front of that gold door, there is a slab there in the front lawn, and that's where Edward is actually buried, right there at the foot of the tower. So very, very cool. And the fish in this water are huge, and there are some little stations around the water where you can feed the fish, and they are hungry. So definitely visit the fish. But this tower it's amazing. It is actually taller than the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and just a little bit shorter than the Taj Mahal, and it sits up on. Really, it's the highest place in Peninsular Florida. Now, the tower and the gardens and everything like that it had its official dedication by Calvin Coolidge, the president, who back in 1929 dedicated the tower and the gardens. And there's an inscription right there, as you can see, on one side of the tower that's sort of is in remembrance of that. And I'd love all the moss and stuff and the trees around it too. Now, I mentioned that this sits on the highest land in Peninsular Florida, and you can sort of see here when you look out all the orange groves and orange trees down there, and this is the highest point in Florida. Now, there's another cool little thing here. It's a Japanese stone lantern, and it was a gift that was given to Edward from one of Edward's staff. And amazingly, this stone lantern was 7 years' salary for the guy that gave it. And it sits right here in this very, very peaceful spot in the garden. And it's really neat just to kind of walk down through these trees and go down and see that. And here's a little memorial gift inscription there. And a bunch of people put coins on it. I'm not sure. I'm sure I know there's some significance to putting coins on something like that, but I don't know what it is. Now, if you go a little further for a walk away from the tower, we wanted to head over to the mansion over here. So you pass a lot of cool stuff on the way. Here is a fountain, and it's not turned on, as you can see, because it's cold. It's cold out today. And it's got some inscriptions on there also, and it mentions that that right here on this place is the highest spot in Peninsular Florida. And it's a neat little birds here on the tribute inscription, and over here on the other side is where it talks about basically how high of a point you are. So pretty cool. It's 324 feet above sea level right there, which is the highest point in Florida. And you just have to kind of keep your eyes open as you wander these trails and walk around and look at stuff. There's things all over, even poked around little corners of trees and things like that, little statues and stuff. And then you will eventually come to this. This is also on the National Register of Historic Places. There is a little mansion through these gates, and I love these gates. They remind me of like cemetery gates, I guess, but it goes to the Pinewood Estates and Gardens. And the Pinewood Estates sits back here, and it was they began to design it like back in 1929, so this has not been as old as everything else. But it's a big 20-room mansion that sits back there, and it in non-COVID days it's open for tours inside. It's not open right now, but it's a 12,900 square foot Mediterranean style home, and it's really cool. Even though we couldn't actually do a tour of the inside and check out what it looked like in there, the outside is pretty amazing, and so are the gardens that surround it. There's a lot of really cool gardening and the architecture of the building and things like that. So pretty cool to look at, even if you can't go inside. Here's another one of the fountains that kind of sits out there in the courtyard. And it's a very Mediterranean, Florida-ish type look. Pretty cool. And the moss trees that surround it also reminds me. If it wasn't so much for the Spanish style of the house, I would think I was in Savannah, Georgia. But something else that you can just wander around, and it's quite large property. Lots of neat flowers and shrubbery and things like that to take. And look at the grounds. It's amazing there, and so peaceful and quiet. And I was fascinated by this doorway. I don't know why. I just love the look of the doorway, the ivy that's growing on it, the waterware that is on it, and then right over here sits another little fountain out there that you can go and just breathe and get some quiet time and enjoy the silence. Just outside the mansion here, my wife found a huge growth of bamboo. Look at that. Look at that bamboo. We love bamboo. She especially loves bamboo, and it's just amazing how sturdy this stuff is. But there's a ton of it right there. Now, you are going to get hungry as you walk around looking at everything, and they have a cafe on property. And it's the Blue Palmetto Cafe, and we thought we would try it out. We had just eaten lunch before we got there, but we needed to try something there, and see how it was. So we actually just had some banana muffins, and they were really good, nice and moist. So I can imagine that the rest of the food there is really good as well. So definitely check that out. And so after we got done eating, we sort of walked over here and went to Hammock Hollow. And this is actually a children's area and children's garden. And this is a little bitty tunnel that the kids enter to get in there. And there's all sorts of play areas for them, and things to climb on. I didn't film everything in here, just a little bit, just to sort of give you an idea. There's a sand pit over here inside this big giant snake that they can play around in and dig in. There's also a water play area, and like I said, it's cold right now. It's the middle of winter, so the river walk is not rivering at the moment. But these rocks have little fountains that shoot water out of them and stuff like that, and there's little wet play areas that they can get in and just have a big old time. You probably never get them out of that. There is a warning to be careful, because the honeybees around there like to go there and get drinks as they're pollinating the flowers that are in the garden. So it's pretty cool. There's a ledge walk. You walk along the ledge where it looks like a cliff. There's a spider climb area, a rope climb area. If you look right over here, there's this kind of ramp thing that runs down through there, and this is actually a fun little boardwalk that goes through the trees in the forest that they can run on and explore. So a really fun area for kids over there. Now, if you go a little bit further, there's learning experiences for kids as well. You see this Insects Beware Savage Plants ahead. Yeah, they have a section here about carnivorous plants, and you can see here they're not real plants. They're giant size fake plants, but it's kind of neat. There's a giant Venus flytrap, and you can go see that, and it has little cards here for the kids to learn about what the plant does, and little information and stuff like that. And here's another one. I wanted to climb in that one, but I didn't. But it's pretty cool. Now, as we went a little further, this is something that my wife and I thought was really interesting. There's an edible garden there, an outdoor kitchen, and they use this to teach culinary classes and stuff, and they prepare fresh food out of things growing right here in the edible garden. You see there's fennel, there's lemongrass, stevia, all kinds of things growing out there, fresh tomatoes, and basically you can just go out there and get these herbs and things and take them to the outdoor kitchen and cook your food using these fresh ingredients and give it a really nice fresh taste. And this is the outdoor kitchen. Pretty cool. Little eating area. There's you see there's a stove and a grill, and there's an oven over there. I'll show you the oven here from the other side. A little seating area here around a fire pit, which is cool. There's the big oven, but really neat. A really cool little outdoor kitchen. Now, I do recommend also, while you're there, stopping in the museum. This is the exhibit hall, and it's a really nice exhibit hall. Super nice, huge, and it has a lot of really neat history and things in there about the gardens, about the people that made it happen, about the tower, the building of the towers, the instrument that's inside the tower, how the bells are made, all kinds of stuff. It's amazing to see some of the pictures and things in there of how this was set up, especially these giant bells that are in the tower. You know, it's like a 62-ton bell that, you know, how do you lift it that high up? And it's got pictures of them doing it all manually and getting those bells installed. But this is really neat. It's got a lot of really neat history. There's not a ton in there. It's not overcrowded. It's just enough to give you a taste of what it's about. A lot of good information, lots of neat items that are carefully selected as to what they put in there. And right in the middle of it is this really cool model of the tower. And all around the tower, it is information about how it was built, what it's made out of, samples of the material. Right here is this little shell texture that they use out of Florida shells to give the tower some texture. It's built out of a lot of thick Georgia marble slabs. As you can see here, there's a piece of it, and you see that's kind of sparkly. It makes it kind of shine in the sun and at night. And here's a comparison chart also right here that's really interesting. I mean, there's 1,320 tons of marble used, 120 tons of bricks. The bells are 62 tons, 45 tons of cement, and then a comparison as to how big it is. And you see it sits right there between the Leaning Tower of Pisa and the Taj Mahal. Also just a little shorter than the Statue of Liberty, but it ranks up there. So a lot of really neat information about the tower. Now, I mentioned earlier I would show you the instrument that is used to play, and this is it. This is what they play inside that rings all those bells and plays the music. And you see it's sort of a piano-like instrument. The bells, this is just a mini version of the instrument and the bell, just to give you an idea of what it looks like. But you play it sort of like a piano. It's got pedals like an organ also, and it rings these bells. And here's a picture of a guy playing, a real one. And this is what the bells look like. The bells are stationary, and it's the little clacker things inside them are actually what makes the noise. So the bells don't move, but those do. And here's a video that was playing in there showing a guy playing it. And it doesn't look fun to play, but but it's awesome. And then right there is, next to it is a spiritual message from the Singing Tower album and sheet music. So, kind of cool. Kids won't know what that big round black thing is, probably. Well, I guess they're coming back now. But there's a old album that they made from the Singing Tower. Now, if you want some Singing Tower music, you can get it on CD right here in the gift shop. I recommend stopping in the gift shop. There's a lot of cool stuff in there, and it smells really good. I don't know what the smell is in there. If it's the candles, they have a lot of nice natural candles in there, but there's jewelry and plates and shirts and books and plants and stuffed animals and just all kinds of neat stuff about the tower, the gardens, and kind of things from that world. So definitely stop in the gift shop and take something home. Help support the organization with that as well. So there you go. There's sort of a look at the gift shop and what it has, and you can spend some time in there. As you can see, there's a variety of things that you can pick from. So that's all I'm going to show you for this tour, but that's it. That's the Bok Tower Gardens and gift shop and other neat little things you can check out. So I hope you enjoyed this look at Bok Tower Gardens. It is a beautiful location. Again, we were there in the middle of winter when plants can't grow, and the grounds are still beautiful. Very, very peaceful. A really neat a place to just go and relax and just sort of breathe for a change. So I highly recommend you checking that out. It is on the National Historic Register, and it's always cool to see places that are on the register. So if you enjoyed this video, just click on the like button and click subscribe. I want to thank you for supporting the channel, and thanks for watching another video with me. We will see you next time.